My father with dementia called me by my dead mother's name until his final breath. I never expected to grieve someone who was still alive. But that's what dementia does, Parrot. It steals people in pieces, leaving their bodies behind as cruel reminders of who they once were. Dad's decline started with keys in the refrigerator and missed appointments. Small things we could laugh about. Small things we could laugh about. A patty old isn't for sissies, he joked, still fully himself despite these slips. The neurologist used words like early stages in cognitive assessment. But Dad was still Dad Pern, the retired English professor who did the New York Times crossword and pen and remembered birthdays without Facebook reminders. Then came the Tuesday morning I brought him breakfast. He looked up from his favorite armchair park, the one Mom had refulstered before cancer took her 3 years earlier, Purton, and smiled. Catherine, you cut your hair. It looks lovely. Catherine was my mother's name. I am Sarah. I froze, scrambled eggs cooling on the plate between us. Dad, it's me, Sarah. He blinked, confused. Of course it is. That's what I said. But it happened again the next day, and the day after soon. He was calling me Catherine more often than Sarah each time. I'd gently correct him. Sometimes he'd apologize, embarrassed. Other times he'd argue, insisting I was trying to confuse him. The worst moments were when he'd suddenly realize his mistake. Catherine's gone, isn't she? He asked once, his voice small. When I nodded, he wept like it was fresh news, grieving her all over again. My brother suggested I just answer to Catherine. What does it matter? It makes him happy, but it mattered to me. I was disappearing. 2 parents, not just Mom. The daughter he taught to ride a bike, helped through calculus homework, and walked down the aisle was fading from his memory. Each Catherine felt like another piece of our shared history being erased. So I tried everything. I wore bright name tags around the house, put photos of me as a child next to his breakfast plate, and churched myself every morning. Hi Dad, it's Sarah, your daughter. Some days were better than others. On good days he'd catch himself, Perry, sorry, Sarah, you remind me so much of her. On bad days he'd grow agitated, accusing me of lying about who I was. 6 months later he stopped speaking much at all. The disease progressed faster than the doctors predicted. He moved to a care facility where I visited daily, still wearing my name tag even though he rarely looked at it. One evening as I was reading aloud from his favorite Hemingway novel, he suddenly gripped my hand, his eyes, which had been vacant for weeks, focused sharply. Sarah, he said clearly, my Sarah. I dropped the book, tears springing instantly. Yes, Dad, it's me, I know, he whispered. I always knew, sometimes I just missed her so much. 3 days later he slipped into a coma. I sat beside his bed for 48 hours, holding his hand, telling him stories of our family camping trips and the time he taught me to change a tire in the rain. In his final moments, his breathing labored. He opened his eyes one last time. I leaned close, hoping for one more moment of clarity. Catherine, he whispered. Then his eyes shifted slightly to meet mine. Take care of our Sarah, and I understood in his mind. We were both there with him at the end. The 2 women he had loved most in the world. I still wear my name tag sometimes, a habit I can't break, but I've stopped minding which name he called me, because I realized that being mistaken for someone you loved is its own kind of remembering.